LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
A'ja Wilson just threw the pettiest shade of 2025, and honestly, it's embarrassing. The two-time MVP couldn't contain her jealousy when Caitlin Clark landed a massive LPGA sponsorship deal. Wilson fired off a tweet that screamed insecurity louder than a smoke alarm at 3 a.m. She wrote, "So you telling me you can miss shots and still get golf money? Now that's pure gold. Girl, the bitterness is showing and it's not cute." But here's where it gets spicy. Wilson didn't even have the guts to tag Clark directly. She went the passive-aggressive route, throwing stones and hiding her hands. Every single person reading that tweet knew exactly who she meant. The internet exploded instantly. Sports blogs picked it up within minutes. Twitter turned into a battlefield between Clark supporters and Wilson defenders. Wilson tried to play it off later, claiming she was just joking around. Sure, A'ja. Nothing says comedy gold quite like publicly dragging a fellow athlete's success. The damage was already done though. Screenshots live forever.
This Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television. And that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
And this one's going straight into the Petty Hall of Fame. The timing couldn't have been worse. Wilson just wrapped up another stellar WNBA season. She dominated the court, put up incredible numbers, and carried her team. Yet here she is, watching Clark get headlines for swinging a golf club. That has to sting worse than stepping on a Lego barefoot. What makes this even more pathetic is that Wilson has every reason to celebrate her own success. She's accomplished things most athletes only dream about: 2 MVP awards, championship runs, respect from peers and coaches. But instead of building her own brand, she's out here acting like Clark personally stole her lunch money.
Caitlin Clark's so good, she's got me following golf. And thanks to her, I now know who Nelly Korda is. And if there's one thing we can count on with Clark, it's that she's gonna draw a crowd. From the court to the course.
The WNBA has been growing rapidly, and that growth benefits everyone. More fans, more sponsorship opportunities, more media coverage. Wilson should be thanking Clark for bringing eyeballs to women's basketball. Instead, she's throwing tantrums on social media because someone else got a golf deal. Here's the kicker though, Wilson's tweet actually proved Clark's marketing power. The moment Wilson mentioned her, even indirectly, Clark started trending again. Free publicity, courtesy of a jealous competitor. Clark probably laughed all the way to the bank while Wilson handed her even more relevance. Wilson's frustration is understandable on some level. She's been grinding in the WNBA for years, building her legacy brick by brick. Then Clark shows up and immediately becomes the face of women's basketball. That would mess with anyone's ego, but publicly whining about another athlete's success is never a good look. The real tragedy here is that Wilson diminished her own accomplishments with this petty display. She went from respected veteran to bitter competitor in one tweet. Sponsors pay attention to social media drama, and this kind of negativity doesn't scream brand partnership material. The LPGA deal that triggered Wilson's meltdown is absolutely massive. Clark scored a sponsorship worth between $6 and $8 million over 2 years. That's more money than most WNBA players see in their entire careers. The deal positions Clark as the bridge between basketball and golf, creating a dual sport marketing machine that has everyone talking. Let's break down why this deal happened. Clark isn't just any athlete. She's a content creation monster. Every event she touches turns into must-see television. The LPGA Pro-Am wasn't even supposed to be televised originally. Then fans started flooding the organization with emails asking how they could watch Clark play. The demand was so intense that networks scrambled to get cameras there. Nike played matchmaker in this whole situation. They saw an opportunity to build Clark's crossover appeal and connected her with the LPGA. Smart move on their part. Clark represents something bigger than basketball. basketball. She's appointment television, trending topic generator, and merchandise moving machine all rolled into one. The numbers don't lie about Clark's impact. When she played in that Pro-Am event, social media went nuclear. She was trending on Twitter before she even teed off. Golf fans who had never heard of women's basketball suddenly knew her name. The LPGA promoted that event harder than some of their major championships. They paired Clark with Nelly Korda, the current #1 golfer in the world. That wasn't an accident. The LPGA wanted maximum exposure, and putting Clark next to their biggest star guaranteed eyeballs. The strategy worked perfectly. Golf blogs, sports websites, and mainstream media all covered the event. But wait, there's more to this story. Clark's golf skills aren't even that impressive. She's decent for a basketball player, but she's not winning any tournaments. That doesn't matter though. Fans don't care about her golf scores. They care about watching Caitlin Clark do literally anything. She could probably get a lucrative deal teaching underwater basket weaving at this point. The LPGA saw what everyone else missed. Clark brings audiences that traditional golf marketing can't reach. Young people, basketball fans, social media addicts. These are demographics that golf desperately needs. Clark is their gateway drug to a whole new fan base. Now here's where it gets interesting. Wilson's bitter reaction actually proves Clark's value even more. The fact that a two-time MVP is this pressed about a golf sponsorship shows how powerful Clark's brand has become. Wilson wouldn't be tweeting about someone she didn't view as a threat to her own marketability. The LPGA deal is just the beginning for Clark. Word is already spreading about potential charity exhibitions, crossover events, and even bigger partnerships. She's building an empire that extends far beyond basketball courts. Meanwhile, Wilson is stuck tweeting passive-aggressive comments from the sidelines. Caitlin Clark's response to all this drama has been absolutely perfect. She said nothing, 0 tweets, no interviews addressing Wilson's comments, no clapbacks whatsoever. While Wilson was busy embarrassing herself on social media, Clark was probably somewhere signing another contract and laughing with her agent. This silence is pure genius. Clark understands something that Wilson clearly doesn't. Responding to petty drama only brings you down to that level. Brands hate messy headlines and Twitter feuds. They want clean, drama-free athletes who won't damage their reputation. Clark delivers exactly that every single time. Wilson, on the other hand, keeps stepping in her own mess. Every bitter tweet makes her look smaller, while making Clark look more professional by comparison. It's the Streisand effect in sports form. The more Wilson complains about Clark, the more relevant and valuable Clark becomes. Check out the pattern here. Clark dominates headlines without saying a word. Wilson has to create controversy just to get mentioned. That tells you everything about their respective marketing power. One athlete generates organic buzz through talent and personality. The other has to manufacture drama through jealousy and pettiness. Clark's team has clearly coached her well on media strategy. Stay above the fray, let your performance speak, and watch the money roll in. Wilson's approach is the exact opposite. Get emotional, fire off tweets, then try to walk it back when the backlash hits. Which strategy do you think sponsors prefer? The timing of Wilson's outburst was especially brutal. Clark's LPGA announcement was massive news across sports media. Wilson could have congratulated her, stayed quiet, or used the moment to promote her own brand. Instead, she chose jealousy and made herself look petty in front of millions of people. Social media never forgets either. Screenshots of Wilson's bitter tweet are already becoming memes. Sports bloggers are using it as evidence of locker room tension in the WNBA. This kind of negative publicity follows athletes around for years. Clark, meanwhile, stays squeaky clean while collecting endorsement checks. But here's the really smart part of Clark's strategy. She lets her success do the talking. New sponsorship deals, sold out arenas, trending topics, massive social media following. Wilson can tweet all she wants, but those numbers don't lie. Clark is building something bigger than basketball while Wilson is stuck arguing on the internet. The contrast couldn't be starker. Clark represents the future of sports marketing. Professional, marketable, drama-free, and incredibly talented. Wilson represents the old school mentality of expecting success based purely on athletic achievement. The market has spoken, and it's choosing Clark every single time. This whole situation proves that emotional intelligence matters just as much as basketball IQ in modern sports. Clark has both. Wilson clearly struggles with the emotional side. One athlete is building an empire, while the other is burning bridges on social media. Wilson's frustration represents a much bigger problem brewing in the WNBA. She's not the only veteran player watching Clark's meteoric rise with growing resentment. Behind closed doors, conversations are happening about fairness, marketing equality, and whether one player should dominate the spotlight this completely. The mathematics of this situation are brutal for established stars. Wilson has 2 MVP trophies and multiple championship appearances. Clark has 0 playoff wins, but somehow commands 10 times the endorsement attention. From a pure basketball perspective, that makes 0 sense. From a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. Modern sports marketing isn't about what you've accomplished. It's about what audiences you can deliver right now. Clark brings demographics that traditional WNBA stars never could reach. College students, casual sports fans, social media addicts, and mainstream media attention. Wilson brings basketball purists and hardcore WNBA followers. The league is caught in an impossible position. They need Clark's star power to grow the sport, but they can't completely ignore their established veterans. Every marketing dollar spent promoting Clark is a dollar not spent on Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or other deserving stars. That creates natural tension in locker rooms and front offices. Wilson's tweet revealed the quiet resentment that's been building all season. Players who grinded for years to build the WNBA are watching a rookie become the face of their league overnight. That would mess with anyone's psychology, especially competitive athletes who are used to being the center of attention. But here's where Wilson completely misses the point. Clark's success is lifting the entire league. Television ratings are up, attendance is higher, sponsor interest is through the roof. More money flowing into women's basketball means better salaries, facilities, and opportunities for everyone. Fighting Clark's success is fighting the growth of their own sport. The WNBA's marketing department should be handling this situation better. Instead of letting veterans feel left behind, they should be creating opportunities that highlight how Clark's success benefits everyone. Joint promotions, team-up events, anything that shows unity instead of division. The real problem is expectations versus reality. Wilson expected her MVP awards to translate into Clark-level marketing opportunities. That's not how modern sports business works, though. Athletic achievement is just one factor in marketability. Personality, timing, demographics, and pure luck all play massive roles. Wilson's generation of players built the foundation that allows Clark to succeed. They deserve credit and compensation for that groundwork, but publicly complaining about another player's success isn't the way to get it. Smart veterans would figure out how to ride Clark's wave instead of fighting against it. The tension is spreading beyond just Wilson too. Other veterans are starting to make subtle comments about media attention and marketing imbalances. If this continues, it could create a real split in the league between Clark supporters and the old guard. This whole drama is heading toward a breaking point that could seriously damage the WNBA's momentum. Wilson's jealousy isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a larger pattern of veteran players feeling displaced by the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. The league needs to address this before it explodes into something much worse. The stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth, largely thanks to Clark's mainstream appeal. Television deals are improving, sponsorship money is flowing, and casual fans are paying attention, but internal drama could kill that momentum faster than a blown lead in the fourth quarter. Wilson has 2 choices moving forward. She can continue the petty social media campaign and watch her reputation crumble, or she can pivot into capitalizing on the attention this controversy has generated. Right now, her name is trending because of Clark. That's free marketing if she's smart enough to use it properly. Smart veterans in other sports have faced similar situations. When LeBron James became the NBA's marketing king, players like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett didn't spend their time tweeting complaints. They focused on their own brands and found ways to benefit from the league's overall growth. Wilson could learn from that playbook. The WNBA front office is probably panicking behind closed doors. They've spent years trying to build unity and sisterhood narratives around women's basketball. Public feuds between star players destroy that carefully crafted image. Sponsors notice when athletes can't get along, and they definitely notice when veterans attack rising stars. Clark's team is probably loving every minute of this drama. Wilson's bitter tweets only make Clark look more professional and marketable by comparison. Every controversy that Clark stays out of while Wilson dives into makes their respective brand values more obvious to potential partners. The LPGA deal was just the beginning of Clark's crossover strategy. Word is spreading about potential partnerships with fashion brands, tech companies, and entertainment platforms. She's building something that goes far beyond sports, while Wilson remains stuck in basketball-only thinking. This situation perfectly captures the evolution of sports marketing. Traditional metrics matter less than social media engagement, demographic appeal, and cultural relevance. Wilson represents the old way of measuring athlete value. Clark represents the new reality where star power trumps everything else. The most frustrating part for Wilson has to be watching Clark succeed without even trying that hard. Clark doesn't campaign for endorsements or beg for attention. Opportunities just fall into her lap because brands recognize her natural marketing appeal. That kind of effortless success would drive any competitor crazy. Moving forward, the WNBA needs strong leadership to prevent this tension from destroying their growth. They need Wilson and other veterans to feel valued while still capitalizing on Clark's star power. It's a delicate balance that could determine the league's future success. If you're enjoying this breakdown of sports drama and want to see more content analyzing the business side of athletics, smash that subscribe button, and let's keep diving into these fascinating stories together.